first voiceover, so please be kind. And I'm going to show you how to make a brothy potato soup in a pressure cooker. You can make a creamy one, but I prefer brothy, so that's what we're going to be making. So I'm starting with about 9 potatoes. I only ended up using 7 of them, and I'm going to start peeling them. I usually peel the potatoes with a knife, but I have a nice potato peeler now, so I've been using it. I got it at TJ Maxx a while ago for like $3 or $4, and I love it. It's really sturdy and great. I really like buying my utensils there for my kitchen because you can always find a pretty good deal. So I'm going to finish peeling these. And here they are peeled. I did rinse them before cutting them. So that's what I'm doing next, is I'm going to start cutting them. Now, I did film the whole time I was cutting, and I didn't speed it up for some reason, so bear with me. I'll be talking about the recipe a little bit while you watch me cut my potatoes. Now, I do not rinse my potatoes after I cut them into squares, or just bits, I guess. I'm roughly cutting them. They don't have to be perfectly cut because they're going to break down anyways in the soup. Now, I am using a fillet knife to cut my potatoes because I had to cut vegetables previously and I didn't have any clean, sharp knives except my fillet knife. So, if you're cringing at the way I cut my potatoes, I'm sorry, but I did not cut my fingers at any point. I did, however, smash my finger while making this recipe. But we're not going to get into that. Also, I added more spices throughout the cooking process, and they might not be very obvious in the video, so I'll be linking the full recipe down below, which I'm going to be putting on my blog. I did not really follow a recipe for this soup. I just kind of made it how I thought it should be made and tasted and added and all that jazz. So, we shall see. Also, I am going to be using some green onions later on in the recipe, and I also am going to have a video out about how I cut my green onions and get them prepared for freezing, and I will link that or put that up in the iCard for your viewing pleasures. So if you want to check out that video, because it should be up before this one, I will put that up there. Now, I will say something about the voiceover. If you guys know any easy way to do a voiceover on a Chrome OS or Chromebook, please let me know, because video editing in Chrome is very difficult, and that's why sometimes my videos aren't the greatest editing wise, because I just have a tough time doing it. I figured out most of the things, but like I said, it's still kind of tough. And sorry if the camera goes in and out of focus. It's due to the poor lighting in my house and me moving around. Yeah, that made me cringe. That's slipping. I believe this is my last potato to cut. Now, you don't have to cut them as small as I'm cutting them, but I like to cut them a little bit smaller than rounds. That way it's a little bit more starchy and helps thicken up the potato soup. That's also why I do not rinse them, because I don't want to rinse that starch off. Now, if I was frying potatoes, of course I would want to rinse them because they'd stick together and get all goopy because of the starch. So there's my cut potatoes. I'm saying do not rinse. Okay, so for this recipe you need potatoes, of course, some garlic. I ended up only using 3 of the 5 cloves that you see in the video. And I just finely chopped those and threw them in my pressure cooker. And some dill weed. I'm using about a pad and a half of butter, and this will be used to saute the garlic and onions together. And this is 2 bags of broth and my frozen block of onions and milk. So here I am sauteing the onions and garlic in the pressure cooker with the butter, and I'm using the sear and roast setting on my pressure cooker. It is the only setting I can use with the lid open. I added the milk, the 2 bags of broth, which equals about 4 cups of broth, and then I added some seasoning, which was the dill. Later on I added pepper and salt and some parsley, and also a packet of chicken bouillon just to kick up the broth flavor, and another pad of butter. At this point, I already added the potatoes to it, so make sure you add those in after everything melts down. And I also cooked it on the soup setting for 35 minutes. Now I'm also adding some green onions. These were from our winter onion patch that we have. And I added about 3/4 cup. Now I'm cooking it for, I'm smashing the potatoes. I always do this when I make potato soup to help them break down a little bit. And again, this is after I already cooked it on the soup setting for about 35 minutes. So I'm going to close the lid and cook it for another 15 minutes on the soup setting. Make sure you get them all nice and smashed up. And I'm going over to my counter, or my spice rack, to grab the pepper and salt, which I did not film me putting this in because I cannot hold the camera and grind these. I'm just using regular black pepper. But I did have some pink Himalayan salt that I got from the Dollar Tree. I did, however, add some multi-like peppercorns. Okay, so this is the finished product. I put some oyster crackers, a dollop of sour cream, and some cheese. It was absolutely delicious. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you comment and subscribe.